Alright, welcome back to another weather discussion. So today we're going to be talking about the Sunday and Monday severe weather threat for the central Mississippi Valley and the East Coast, as well as this huge fire risk over here in the Great Plains, and the major snowstorm coming with that severe risk to the Midwest. So let's get started here. We're going to be first starting off with the severe weather risk for tomorrow. As you can see, we have a pretty large enhanced risk for the Mississippi Valley. If I get my draw tool here, we can see that this area is a nice enhanced risk, and they're mostly for wind. Wind is a big factor here. There's already a 45% wind risk for the storm. However, there's also a 10% tornado risk with a conditional intensity group 1, which basically means that there is tornadoes of EF2 possible in a 25-mile point. So that's also that's happening tomorrow. And then on Monday, there is another enhanced risk over here in the East Coast, affecting Pennsylvania, Maryland, Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina, as well as places like Washington, D.C., where there's a lot of population there. So there could be some places that either could have a very heavy severe weather risk, or it might not be as severe, as the storms might break up as they move out into the coast. But we'll have to see on Monday. But as of now, that is the two main threats for this area. If we go take a look at the probabilistic for day 3, you can see that there is a 30% of any severe risk. Most likely it is going to be wind. However, there is a good possible 2 to 5% tornado risk for this area. If we look at the fire risk now, we can see that we have a pretty large critical risk in the Great Plains and New Mexico, Colorado area, where fire weather is very high, as well as day 2, where down here in Texas and New Mexico, there is another critical risk of fire weather. So if you are down here in New Mexico and Texas, as well as for tomorrow, Colorado, Nebraska, Wyoming, and Kansas, take in mind that the fire risk will be high, so try to limit any type of wood burning if you can. Actually, limit it a lot. So now we're going to be talking about the winter weather that's going to be hitting the Midwest. Take a look at the winter weather index here. You can see that there is a major risk of winter weather for Minnesota, Wisconsin, and South Dakota, as well as there should be some extreme somewhere, if I can find it. Here it is. Over here in South Dakota, there is an extreme risk. Doesn't really give any details, which is interesting, but if we take a look at the snow amount, we can see that, nope, this one. We can see that for the snowfall that is greater than 4 inches, it will be a high risk for a lot of up here. If we go to 12 inches, there is, let's go 8 inches because that's silver. So there is another high risk for 8 inches over here. So this area is expected to get a lot of snow, as well as there is some blizzard warnings also active for this area. And if we take a look here, we can see that there is accumulations between 2 and 10 inches with winds of 55 miles an hour. So wind speed will also play in a factor here. Take a look at the freezing rain for tomorrow. We can see that there is a moderate risk of freezing rain for Michigan and into Canada. If we take a look at there's nothing for Monday, which is great, because as that storm moves over here into the New York and Maine area, it won't be as severe as tomorrow. Take a look at the temperature index for a 6-day outlook from this SPC. We can see that there is a pretty high ridge sitting over in the west, causing let's turn this off, causing extreme heat watches to be sent for Arizona and California, as well as heat advisories already in effect. If you take a look at the temperature for the 8 to 10 week, you can see that this heat will stay. There is not really signs of this heat moving away until week 3 to 4, where it's still actually staying as spring moves on. So we can expect some warmth for the west coast as it moves eastward. Now, if we take a look at the precipitation for the 6 to 10-day outlook, you can see that Oklahoma is in a below average precipitation, as well as most of the west, due to that heat and that high pressure sending it up here to Washington, where there's above precipitation. If you look at the 8 to 14 day, you can see that same thing. Now let's go to, no, that's it. So let's take a look at the models here. I'm going to turn off some of the warnings for the United States because it's a little too much. So if you take a look here and see that there's already snow happening up here in Montana and in the northeast of the United States. If we move this onward, you can see, you can see that this snowstorm will proceed to get worse as it moves towards the Midwest. So you can expect this snow to be what the National Weather Service predicts. Now, if we take a look at, I'm going to go further. Kind of see the formation of the severe weather starting up here in Iowa as it prepares to hit this area. But overall, that is it. That's all I have to talk about. And before I finish this video, there is, after this severe weather threat moves eastward, we will have a very a very quick drop in temperatures for this area. A ridge of cold weather will hit right after this storm passes by, and we can kind of see that if we open up the is this it? No, temperature. There it is. If you open up the temperature outlook, you can kind of see that this bit of cold weather is going to move downward into this area and drop temperatures about 30-ish degrees as we move forward. So take in mind that the temperatures will be dropping for the East Coast and the Central Valley, but the West Coast will stay quite warm. As you can see here, it is pretty warm over here. That's it. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for our live streams later today. Or not later today, sorry, later tomorrow and Monday. And we hope to see you in our next video. Thank you.